So this week, I decided to go and do something different and try to figure out what fans of historical movies would consider to be some of the best movies of all time. And to find the answers to my question, I decided to go and do some research on IMDB and try to figure out what historical movies were the highest rated on the platform. But just a disclaimer though, IMDB does not have a user-friendly UI and it has very limited filtering capabilities as well. But I tried my best to filter through thousands of historical movies to give you this list of the 10 highest rated historical movies on IMDB according to my research. At number 10, it is Ben-Hur, getting an 8.1 rating on IMDb. This classic 1959 epic film takes place in 1st century Jerusalem with a Jewish prince being betrayed and put into slavery by a Roman, and the rest of the plot follows his struggle to regain his freedom and eventually be able to exact his revenge against those who have betrayed him. Ben-Hur is one of those classic films that has withstood the test of time, and is one of those historical films that fans of the genre love to continuously revisit time and time again. And with 230,000 reviews of the film on IMDb, and Ben-Hur still maintaining this high rating means that the majority of audiences reviewing this film have enjoyed this experience, and I feel like you owe it to yourself to watch this film if you haven't done so already. At number 9, it is 12 Years a Slave with a massive 8.2 rating. This is an award-winning film based around the life of Solomon Northup, who was a free-born African American but eventually gets tricked and sold into slavery. 12 Years a Slave is a harrowing and nerve-wracking biographical film which sees the viewer having to witness one obstacle or hardship after the other for Solomon, all in an attempt for him to regain his freedom. 12 Years a Slave is definitely one of the best films I've ever seen around American slavery, and I would argue that the rating for this film should be even higher, but it is still a most worthy film to be included in this list, and one that I feel like all fans of historical movies would love. At number 8, it is a movie I will admit that I haven't even heard of, which is the 2004 World War II movie called Downfall, which explores the final days of Adolf Hitler while he is stuck in his Berlin bunker, and this story is told through the viewpoint of Traudie Jung, the secretary for Adolf Hitler. I must admit that the premise of this film does sound very interesting, and with an 8.2 overall rating on IMDb based off 340,000 reviews, it seems like that this film was able to execute its plot and narration very effectively. Downfall seems to be getting a lot of praise from audiences for its storytelling, ability to show Hitler in a new light, and its historical accuracy as well. Some minor criticisms I could find in some of the reviews were that some people felt that Downfall played out more like a documentary rather than a movie, but I guess that is a viewpoint that would vary from person to person. Downfall is definitely a movie I will be watching at some point in the next few weeks, and I suggest you add it to your must-watch list as well. At number 7, it is Lawrence of Arabia, which will be a film familiar to all fans of the historical genre, and a classic film that definitely deserves the high praise it has received on IMDb, with a solid 8.3 rating based off 282,000 views. This film stars Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif, with both giving one of the best performances of their career, and the film has been rated as one of the top 5 movies of all time by both the American Film Institute and British Film Institute as well, highlighting the fact that this film is beloved by both viewers and critics alike. Lawrence of Arabia is an epic historical film which is based on the life of T.E. Lawrence and his 1926 book 7 Pillars of Wisdom, which explores his experiences in the Ottoman Empire during World War I. This is a film with a unique and engaging storyline, and if you ever find yourself with 227 minutes to spare, then watching Lawrence of Arabia may be a great way to fill that time. At number 6, it is 1917, a war film which covers various events experienced by Alfred Hubert Mendes, the grandfather of the producer of this film. This movie was a huge commercial and critical success when it got released to cinema in 2019, and its reputation seems to have only grown since then, and is currently sitting at an 8.3 on IMDb. That is absolutely amazing because it also has over 550,000 reviews. Most of the reviews highlight the unique cinematography and amazing acting by the two main primary characters as the strong drivers of the great feedback for this film, as 1917 does have a truly unique and awe-inspiring way of portraying its story, and this is evident as it's won the Academy Awards for Best Cinematography and Best Visual Effects. 1917 was one of the best World War I films I have ever seen, and I would rate it even higher than an 8.3 personally. I definitely think it is a film that any movie lover should absolutely have on their radar. And number 5, it is Braveheart, with 1 million reviews and an 8.3 rating, proving that historical inaccuracy and a historical film that prioritizes big battle scenes and a big budget over historical facts can still be a film that is a huge hit and success with audiences. Braveheart is a film which follows the life of William Wallace during the events of the First War of Scottish Independence, and how William Wallace grew to become a legendary figure during this time. Braveheart has amazing acting, and Mel Gibson does a fantastic job portraying the primary character. The storyline is also engaging, and it is interesting and easy to follow from the get-go. Issues with historical accuracy and character development don't prevent from ensuring that Braveheart is a worthy contender for this list, and a film that many viewers, including myself, have an overall positive outlook about. And number 4, it is Gladiator, a historical film which is on every historical fan's top 5 list, and it seems that IMDB would agree with this statement, with Gladiator holding a highly impressive 8.5 score based off 1.4 million reviews. That means over 1.1 million people have reviewed this film as an 8 or higher, an impressive feat which no other film in this list has been able to exceed or even match. Gladiator stars Russell Crowe as the primary character of the movie, in which he has fallen from one of Rome's most respected generals to a lowly gladiator slave, all due to the political machinations of Emperor Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix. Although this film is mostly historically inaccurate and takes many liberties with its depiction of Emperor Commodus, that does not prevent Gladiator from being a film fueled by an amazing plot filled with non-stop action, battle scenes, and gladiatorial fights. This film takes everything that makes a historical film good and perfects it in a way that most other films cannot even begin to comprehend. And Gladiator is definitely a film that deserves to be in the top 5 of any sort of historical list. And number 3, it is Saving Private Ryan, a film that I'm sure all historical movie fans would have been certain to have made a feature on this list. And with a score of 8.6, it highlights just how amazing and revolutionary Saving Private Ryan was. The basic premise of this film is about the rescue mission by a squadron of soldiers who are tasked with finding and evacuating the last surviving brother of the Ryan family during the invasion of Normandy. The acting in this film is top tier, with Tom Hanks leading an all-star cast, all of whom excel at bringing their characters to life, and is mentioned as one of the strongest aspects of the film across the majority of the reviews as well. Steven Spielberg delivers a masterpiece with Saving Private Ryan, as the cinematography, battle scenes, and costume design are all of the highest caliber, the film actually winning the award for Best Cinematography and Best Director as well. Saving Private Ryan is worthy of all the praise it gets and more, and you owe it to yourself to find out why this film is so well reviewed and loved by audiences if you haven't done so already. And number 2, it is Sardar Udham, a film that I hadn't seen prior to doing the research for this list, and I'm sure many watching this video would not have had the chance to watch it yet either. But with a solid 8.9 rating on IMDb, it was a film that I couldn't ignore, and after watching it I had to say it really is a great film that deserves much more attention from mainstream audiences. Sardar Udham follows a primary character named Udham Singh, a Sikh revolutionary who spends over 20 years planning and orchestrating the assassination of Michael O'Dwyer, the man responsible for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, in which thousands of peaceful Indian protesters were horrifically massacred by British forces. Much of the praise around this film is based around the acting of the main cast, but also of the way the director has been able to reproduce the political and socio-economic climate of the time so vividly on our screens. So if you're looking to explore a little talked about massacre in Indian history and get a better understanding of the relationship between the British Empire and India, then Sardar Udham is the perfect film for you. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's the second best film in this list though. At number 1, it is Schindler's List, perhaps Steven Spielberg's greatest work to date, and a film that seems to have had a long-lasting effect on not just historical movie fans but mainstream audiences as well, as it has a mind-boggling IMDb score of 8.9 based off 1.3 million reviews. It is the second most reviewed film on this list, and it also had the highest rating, which highlights just how revolutionary this masterpiece of a film really is. Schindler's List was able to really bring to the big screen the horrors of the Holocaust and World War II in a manner the world probably hadn't ever seen before. And the general storyline of Oskar Schindler's incredible bravery and tact to save the lives of over 1,000 Polish Jews during this time was a plot that was well received by audiences. Reviewers also offer high praise to Liam Neeson, who is a standout in this film with his portrayal of Oskar Schindler, and it is the film considered by many to have made him a household name and a Hollywood A-lister as well. Simply put, Schindler's List is a film that is deserving of the accolade of being considered a masterpiece, and it would seem that at least 1 million people will agree with this statement, as this is the highest rated historical movie according to my research on IMDB right now. So lastly, I just wanted to say, if you did enjoy this video, please then do like and share this with others, and if you haven't already done so, do subscribe as I post videos on historical movies and TV shows on a regular basis. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.